Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you once again for taking the time to join us for another of our live webinar, this time in collaboration with our leading partner, HP. My name is Melanie Ancheta. I'll be doing the introduction and I'll also be doing the Q&A part of this session. I am basically proud to be joined today by two of my colleagues. They are, just 1 second, sorry, slides are a bit slow. They are Jonathan Sprague, which is a pre-sales consultant from HP, and Thomas Ruckus, which is our performance test consultant at Test House. Basically, he specializes in LoadRunner. I will briefly run through the agenda for you. So basically from introduction, and then Thomas will take over to talk about Test House for a few minutes. And then basically the bulk of the presentation will be done by Jonathan on both LoadRunner and Performance Center 11. And there'll be a quick demo, I think 10 minutes or so. And then basically after that, there'll be a Q&A for 5 minutes. Before I go, also during the presentation, if you want to make the screen a bit larger, maybe ideal when Jonathan does his demo, please do not forget to press the full screen at the top of the page. Basically, without further delay, I now pass you over to my colleague, Thomas.
Thank you, Melanie. Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about our main service, which we provide, which is performance testing. Test House, well, we have delivered a lot of projects, including performance validation. We have completed performance testing projects by validating system performance. We also did performance monitoring for various clients. We have also completed projects by monitoring system performance. Okay, therefore, we are focusing on the final measurable performance characteristics, such as load testing, which is carried out to understand the behavior of an application at a given level of load. We use test results that basically give us the response times of all critical business transactions. Stress testing is used to take the application to its functional limits, so it's used by a greater number of users than expected. Stress testing aim is to determine the robustness of an application with an extreme load. We also do scalability testing, which is testing of a software application for measuring its capability to scale up or scale out. Our external and internal applications, such as e-commerce for retail industry, high secure websites for banking industries, also large-scale CRM and other database implementations. We use different methodologies to ensure that system meets performance criteria. We can provide managed testing service as an independent verification covering the entire testing lifecycle, or managed components such as UAT, user acceptance testing, integration testing, or browser compatibility testing. I'm going to mention several of our customers. It's Santander Bank. We're currently rolling out testing for the CRM. Department of Trade and Industry. We're testing the internal portal. Department for International Development. We do application profiling for Oracle and e-business suite. We also got a project with BSkyB, and we're testing a Cordian CRM, which is the database implementation. Therefore, we're doing project with associate Northcliffe Digital, and we're testing their web portals. UBS, we're testing their Java-based application, and of course, many more. And now I'm going to pass it to Jonathan.
Thank you, Thomas. My name is Jonathan Sprague, pre-sales consultant for HP, focusing mainly on the quality management software, and in this case we're talking about performance software, so solutions LoadRunner and Performance Center. And we're going to be looking at what's new in version 11 of these tools. So the agenda for this section, first of all, I'll look at the market drivers, where we have been developing the products and why, and then look at each of those products in turn and what's new in the suite. So the main driver is application modernization. Most organizations are going through an application modernization drive, and lots of things within the organization related to the applications and the technology we work with are changing. So in terms of people, gone are the days where you can sit with all of your co-workers. Most organizations now have distributed teams with people working all over the world, lots of offshore resources involved in testing, particularly performance testing. Processes are also changing. Even if you're not using an agile methodology, the chances are that your waterfall processes are being used in a more agile, with a small a, kind of way, and we need to be responsive to these changes. And the technology has changed from large monolithic applications to composite applications that are made up of lots of different moving parts, lots of different back-end applications, and many service-oriented applications in the back end. So our solutions need to be able to support these changes. We need to enable distributed teams to collaborate, to be able to track what each person is doing and maintain a correct version of all of the assets that we're working with. We need to be able to support those different processes, and we need to support the new technologies and to be innovative in the development of our tools to enable the ease of use of those tools against these new technologies. So these are the kind of the design goals and the ethos behind the development of the latest version of our application management products. And that is Performance Center, the enterprise tool, and LoadRunner, the project-based tool for test automation, performance test automation. So if we look at the product stack, if you like, the software stack, that's the LoadRunner suite of tools. It's been the same for many years now. It's a mature application. And these tools are also used within Performance Center. If you're doing enterprise performance testing, you still use things like ViewGen and analysis, but the management of those tools and the controller and load generators is done by Performance Center. And I'll talk more about Performance Center in the second half. And finally, within the application suite, we have HP Diagnostics, which is a tool for looking at the performance within the application layer. So you might be running a performance test and you see that a search is taking 10 seconds, but you wouldn't know any more than that without looking at some tools that are looking at the application itself. HP Diagnostics can provide you with that capability so that you can see the method calls, for instance, in a J2E application behind that search, and you can see exactly where within the code the performance problems are. Not going to talk any more about diagnostics today, and in this first session we're going to look at LoadRunner, so what is new within the core LoadRunner tool suite. And these developments also are relative to Performance Center, or relevant to Performance Center as well, because many of these tools are also used in Performance Center. So as I said, LoadRunner is our project-based performance testing tool. It comes with a site license and is designed to be used at a particular site location. And the goal of the product is to enable you to emulate production workloads on your applications in order to identify performance bottlenecks and hopefully then optimize the application and remove those bottlenecks. Ultimately, with the goal of reducing risk in deploying systems into production, reducing the cost of rework by catching defects early, and through the automation, accelerating that test cycle. So these are some of the new features in the current version. And first of all, we have the LoadRunner TruClient. TruClient is a new protocol for scripting against Web 2.0 applications, and in particular AJAX applications. One of the problems with Web 2, or very interactive web technology we have now, is that it's not just a case of making a request to a server and getting a page back. There's lots of dynamic, asynchronous behavior going on in these web pages. You might have little pieces of an application on a page, such as a share ticker, for instance, that's making its own communication with a server in the background to bring you data to your rich client interface. And this will be using some kind of AJAX technology. AJAX also, there's many different toolkits, and developers often extend these toolkits. So to support this with a traditional LoadRunner type protocol level protocol is very difficult. You have to, in some ways, reverse engineer a lot of the client-side scripting that's going on to try and replicate that when you run a script. So the new scripting technology we have, LoadRunner TruClient, addresses these issues. So here you see the scripting client. It's actually embedded within the browser. So the window on the left of the image there is the LoadRunner scripting engine. And because it's embedded within a browser, it's working at the document object model level, so it's integrated directly with the document that you're displaying. So there's no problems with compatibility with different toolkits. It supports any application that would run within the browser. Everything's now done from this side panel. All your parameterization, adding transactions, any coding you want to do, you can do from within here as well. And it also has automatic suggestion of steps where there might be problems where things aren't detected properly. One of the advantages of the new technology is that there are no correlations. Because we're working with the browser, you don't have to catch session variables and parameterize them and then use them later in the script, which you would with a traditional LoadRunner script. So there's no correlation required at all now. And it's a very interactive way of scripting and very easy to use. So I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of how that works. So you should now be able to see a browser. This is an online banking application, and this is the application that I want to test, and I know it's an AJAX application. So I'm going to switch into LoadRunner. So this is a traditional LoadRunner script where you have lots of code in here. And one particular point that I'm going to talk about in the demo here is it's a banking application, and we're going to select some bank accounts. And you can see within the code here that the selecting of these different accounts, my savings and checking accounts, within the drop-down selection, I've actually got the balance. And that would be a problem here. We'd have to do some parameterization, do some coding to catch that. And that's one aspect you'll see when I do this recording here, that it's much easier to cope with those kind of things with TruClient. So I'm just starting a new script, and it's launched the browser for me. So I'm going to go to my banking application and then just hit the record button. And the process that I'm going to go through here is to log in and get the password right, and then make a bank transfer. So I'm going to go to the money transfer link, select my savings account and my checking account. And you can see as I record, it's showing me the steps that I'm recording on the left-hand side in the LoadRunner pane there. Now, when I click in that date, that pop-up there is an AJAX control, and we'll see that will be relevant when I go through and rerun the script in a moment. So that's selected my date, the amount I want to transfer, OK. There's my confirmation message, and if I was doing a test, I might want to go to my accounts and just manually check those balances. OK, so that's my script. So I stop that now by just using the control bar here on the left-hand side, and I'm going to replay that. And you can see here in step 7, where we had the selection of the savings account, we've got the value of that, the balance there. So I'm pretty sure it's going to fail when we get to that point. As I said, if you're doing a traditional scripting method, and if actually the AJAX toolkit and everything you're using is supported, then even when you get to that point, you'd have to do some coding. But with this scripting technology, we don't have to do that. Oh, that's actually succeeded there. Well, it shouldn't have done. It should have. For some reason, it didn't change anything. How was that? One of the problems of doing live demos, it never does quite what you want it to. So that should have actually failed there. For some reason, it hadn't taken the amount off of my account the first time through. But what would have happened then is I can open this step, and you can see here it's got